It's that time of the month again, where we're joined by attorney Sheila Samuels. Sheila Samuels, how are you? It's February 2nd, it's the first Thursday, and you are right on time, ready to talk about end of life care decisions. What's going on?
Good evening, Lady D. Hello to all of the listeners. How is everyone today?
We're good. I think I'm looking at some showers of blessing or showers in white. I'm not sure what it is going on the outside.
Yes. Absolutely.
What's going on in your area? Are you able to see outside? Is it raining?
It sounds like it's raining. I hear some showers over here as well. And it does seem like it's raining just a little.
Okay, all right. So we're even keel. Well, it's my pleasure having you as always. You have been outstanding in your presentation, imparting your knowledge and the areas of necessity that we all need to pay attention to, not only to pay attention to, but that we need to put whatever is necessary in place so that our families won't be burdened, nor will someone have to be holding up their heads to say, so he did not do this or she did not do that. And this evening's topic about end of life care decisions, most of us think we're going to be here for some time.
That's correct. So, but we know that that's not true, right?
Because yes, we know that.
There is a saying that there are two things that are certain: taxes and death, right? And so, while I know that it's very uncomfortable to think about death and talk about death, it is something that we all must face and plan for. Before we even get into it, I just would like to, say hello again to everyone joining us this evening. My name is Sheila Samuels. I am the principal attorney of the Samuels Law Firm. We have offices in Mount Vernon, New York at 11 West Prospect Avenue, 3rd floor, and we also have offices in Manhattan at 31 West 34th Street, as well as New Jersey at 210 River Street in Hackensack, New Jersey. And the Samuels Law Firm, we are a trust and estate planning law firm with an emphasis on special needs planning, elder law, long-term care planning issues, as well as probate and administration. We really do believe in protection, preservation, and peace of mind. We are here to assist you and your loved ones with protecting and preserving assets so that you can age with dignity and a peace of mind. And so, like Lady D mentioned, tonight I did want to discuss end-of-life care decisions. And again, it's very uncomfortable to think about death and to talk about our own death. But truly having a plan in place for end-of-life care is an important part of everyone's estate plan. Many clients, when I meet with them, they will often ask me, well, what exactly does end-of-life care mean? And end-of-life care is really designed to make a person comfortable physically and emotionally at the end of their life, particularly if they're diagnosed with some type of terminal illness or condition. And as we think about the aging process, it becomes very important. And some considerations that we all should be thinking about when it comes to end-of-life care, and again, I know that this can be very uncomfortable for many of us. One, you should be thinking about where would you like to die, right? Would you prefer, if possible, to pass away at home? Many of my clients, they prefer to remain home as long as possible. They don't like the idea of going into a hospital or nursing home facility. They would much rather prefer to pass away peacefully at home, surrounded by family and friends, excuse me, or even in a hospice care facility. Another consideration should certainly be, excuse me, what type of treatment would you want or would you not want? You have a right to refuse any treatment that you don't want, especially if you have been diagnosed with a terminal illness or condition, and all it's going to do is prolong your passing and not really provide any reasonable expectation of recovery. Another consideration that we often speak to our clients about when it comes to end-of-life care decisions is really who would you want to make healthcare decisions for you in the event you are unable to make those decisions for yourself. And so one of the things that is very important when it comes to end-of-life care decisions is that you document your wishes and intentions. And the way that we do that would be by having a healthcare proxy as well as a living will in place. Some of the listeners may be wondering, well, what exactly is a healthcare proxy?
Yes.
And so a healthcare proxy is a legal document where you appoint someone to make healthcare decisions for you in the event you are unable to make those decisions for yourself due to incapacitation. The individual who you appoint to make these decisions on your behalf is called your agent, and this person is acting as a surrogate for you. And when it comes to, healthcare decisions, these decisions could include any consent or refusal to consent to any treatment or service. It could be that your agent is providing consent to a procedure to diagnose or treat an individual's physical or mental condition. It could deal with your preferences regarding pain management, as well as your preferable location of care. And so one of the main things that the healthcare proxy is designed to do is to give you control. And if you think back to everything that we've been talking about since I've been on with Lady D, it really goes back to control and peace of mind. When you have a comprehensive healthcare proxy in place, it allows you to maintain as much control as possible over your future in terms of medical treatment by placing important decisions in the hands of an agent, someone who you know and trust, to make sure that they are going to follow your wishes and intentions when it comes to healthcare decisions.
Interesting. I'm telling you, I'm sitting here and listening, and so are my viewing and listening audience, and they're saying, oh, because I didn't realize that, we had such an extensive checklist that I didn't even know there are people who prefer to die at home. I mean, as a child growing up, I know that there are people who, they lived in such remote areas of any community, so transportation was almost non-existent. So then, the choice was they would have to die at home. But I really didn't really know all of that. So that's information for myself and for those who are listening. Now continue. I'll ask you a question.
No, absolutely, Lady D. I mean, and again, with the healthcare proxy, typically it is designed to allow you to appoint an agent who can make decisions relating to healthcare matters on your behalf. But we've certainly seen it where our clients would like to include some additional information, such as the types of treatment they would want or not want, given, this under certain circumstances.
Yes.
You could even have a provision in there regarding any organ or tissue donation.
Right.
You can have a provision in there regarding who you would want to take possession of your possession or remains upon your passing. And so again, it's really something where you should sit down and speak with a qualified attorney, so that they can get a better understanding of what your wishes are, and then you can memorialize those wishes so that if anything should happen in the future, this is the template that everyone should follow. There should be no discussion as to what you want because you have laid everything out clearly in terms of who you want to oversee the handling of any healthcare related decisions, as well as the type of care and treatment you want or don't want. And so the other thing with the healthcare proxy is, it's used in several circumstances, two of which would be either in life-threatening conditions or if the principal, who is the person who appoints the agent, is incapable of making a healthcare decision on their own, right? And the agent could also have access to medical records and have the right to receive information from your healthcare provider so that they can make an informed decision on your behalf.
Let me see. Just one moment. I believe we have a call. Good evening.
Sure.
Pleasant good evening to you, Lady D, and good evening to you, Sheila.
Thank you. How are you, Pat? Welcome.
I am blessed. I'm blessed. And I want to thank you, Lady D and Sheila, for coming on and bringing us such vital information.
Yes.
As for me right now, I don't have a question, but I know that healthcare proxy work. In the 80s, I was working at this nursing facility, and we had a patient. She was on long-term care, and apparently she was living too long. She had what's called a G-tube feeding that would, enhance her longevity. And that lady lived possibly about 15, 20 years long. She was in a private room, and of course her husband was paying, out of his pocket. But he realized he was getting older and his wife wasn't dying. So they had a healthcare proxy in place. And what they did, oh boy, you have to adhere to the wishes of the attorney and to the law. And that lady, they had her just sitting there dying. They pulled the plug from off of her and she was just sitting there dying. They just, intermittently would moisten her lips with ice until she succumbed. So in as much as we were upset about it, we clearly see when you have a policy and procedure in place, it has to be followed. And of course, even with us, I really wouldn't like that to happen to me. But once we are alive, we should make our needs and our wishes known, because there are some folks who would like to be cremated, others don't want to be cremated, only because the funeral cost and cremation is running, simultaneously today. So we must make our needs and our wishes known. I have a kit that I purchased, for my healthcare proxy, and have my, my sister, to take care of that for me. But there are people who are not aware that this kind of program exists.
Yes.
And so we must be empowered. And we thank you for coming on and empowering us. Maybe someone can learn something from the program this evening, and it will help them to be better equipped to deal with some of the issues that we have to face in life, because death and taxes are two things that are very, very eminent. We don't ask for it, but when it comes, we have to step up to the plate.
Thank you, Pat. Thank you so much.
Yes, I remember I have a son who passed away, and trust me, Lady D, if I did not have insurance, I don't know what I would have done.
Right.
Because it's very expensive to bury someone today.
Yes,
so we don't just wait until someone dies. We put up a GoFundMe. This is the purpose of a GoFundMe. We shouldn't have to wait and beg people money to bury our loved one. We have to be proactive. We must be proactive.
All
Put
right.
something aside for, Mr. Rainy Day, because when death comes, if you don't have insurance, oh my gosh, you are in a pickle jar. So once again, thank you, and I am listening.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for calling in.
Thank you
You're
so
quite
much.
welcome.
If you'd like to call us here, the telephone number is 914-600-4228. 914-600-4228. 4228. And the segment is called Planning with Sheila. She is an attorney at law, and this evening she is talking about end-of-life care decisions. Vital information. Continue, Sheila.
Yes, and your caller, she said it perfectly. We really have to get this information out to the community, and once they receive the information, they now have to act, right?
Yes.
Because it goes back to everything that we have been talking about, having that control. And this really goes back to dying with dignity, not only aging with dignity, but also dying with dignity. Mm-hmm. Another document that is also utilized when we talk about end-of-life care decisions is a living will. And the primary purpose of a living will is for an individual to set forth his or her own wishes as to what medical procedures he or she does not want in the event of terminal illness. Mm-hmm. And so I know some of the listeners may be thinking, well, Sheila, you just said a healthcare proxy could be used for that. Mm-hmm. And that is true. The primary purpose, though, of the healthcare proxy is for you to name an agent, someone who is going to act on your behalf if you are unable to act for yourself. Mm-hmm. And then with the living will, the primary purpose is for you, it's your own words, and it's you outlining for your family member, for your friends, for your physicians, healthcare providers or attending physicians, exactly what types of treatment you would want or you do not want in the event you are diagnosed with this terminal illness or condition. Mm-hmm. And so while you can include your wishes regarding life-sustaining treatment in your healthcare proxy, with the living will, you can actually go into greater detail about your wishes. And again, much like the healthcare proxy, much like the power of attorney and any other planning document that we have been discussing during these segments, the living will is designed to give you control over the extent to which doctors will go to keep you alive, mm-hmm. should you become incapacitated and are unable to express your views and wishes at the time of treatment. Okay. And so one of the things that your listeners may be asking themselves, well, what if I don't have a healthcare proxy in place or an advance directive in place, or even a living will? And what happens is that your family members would have to petition the court to obtain guardianship over you in order to make healthcare related decisions on your behalf. And I've mentioned this before, with a guardianship proceeding, it takes time and it costs money, because most of the times family members are unable to actually prepare the paperwork and handle a guardianship proceeding on their own. Yes. And so it will often require the assistance of an attorney. And like we said, that's going to cost money and it's going to take time to go through the court system. Also, again, it goes back to you losing the element of control, because now the court is the one that has the say over who's going to step in and make these decisions for you, rather than you outlining for yourself who you would want to handle such a major responsibility. And so, again, as everyone is listening to me tonight, I really do encourage you all to sit down and really think about what you would want for yourself or not want for yourself if you are diagnosed with a terminal illness or condition. Who would you want to make this healthcare related decisions on your behalf if you're unable to speak for yourself? Who would you want to have access to your medical records? All of these decisions are very important when we talk about creating an estate plan or legacy plan, as I like to call it. And it goes back to peace of mind and aging and dying with dignity. And if you take anything from my time here this evening or my other times that I've been on the radio, it's really about having control and peace of mind and dying with dignity.
And it is so important for us to really, really receive this information, because it has been said, And it's almost as though it's becoming stigmatized that black people don't go to the doctor and they don't put things in place until they're dying.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That's what's out there. That we don't really take our health seriously. So health care is minimal. It's like at the bottom of the list. And that should
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm. That shouldn't be so. Because you say something to someone. I just heard it on another radio program just this week. A woman observed that there was something going on with a friend of hers, and she's saying to her, "You don't realize," and she's saying, "No, I feel fine." And of course, when she went to the doctor and got the diagnosis, that can't help you kind of thing. What can they do? The thing is so far gone. So sometimes we just, it's based on how we're feeling. And even if there's something there, evidence there, blatantly staring you in the face, there is this part of our psyche that causes us to go in denial.
Yeah.
And we don't take care of what we need to take care of.
Yeah. And again, I understand the anxiety around creating an estate plan because it requires you to think about you no longer being here.
Mm-hmm.
But what I've always told my clients is that, particularly with the healthcare proxy and the power of attorney, and the living will, those documents deal with what happens to you while you're alive. And so it's very important that you really do create these documents and create your plan. You should take great comfort in having a comprehensive estate plan.
Yes.
Because, again, it goes back to that peace of mind. Once you've created it, particularly the healthcare proxy and the power of attorney and the living will, make your wishes known to your family members and friends. Speak to them, let them know, if something should happen, this is what you have in place. Because your family members are also going to feel relieved. Mm-hmm. They don't want the burden of having to make these decisions on your behalf. So if you can give them that guidance, it is going to provide them great comfort.
Mm-hmm. I'd just like to let everyone know that we are also streaming on my Facebook page, Lady D. Denise Gomez. And you can always go back there if you're just joining and you haven't got the full gamut of the show this evening. You can go back there and hear Sheila explaining all that you need to know about putting things in place. We don't want to die. We just don't think of ourselves dying, but some of us will die. And that is the truth. I just want to acknowledge Patricia, who called, my good friend Roger Williams. Want to say hi to Jenny Hutton, my good friend Asnet Nelson, also Franz Earl Robinson, the author of such great poems, and Nadine McKenzie, Godfrey Watson, my former boss in Jamaica, St. Elizabeth Homecoming Foundation. Also,
wow.
Real Power. Hey, Desmond, that's way too long for me to read. Dale, my friend, Clint, Naughty Virtue out of Jamaica, Maxine Patrick Thompson, Bobby Simpson, Errol Palmer, and Mr. Powell. Hey, Mr. Powell, I know you're recouping and all that. So, your final comments, because we're wrapping up now, Sheila.
Earlier today I was watching a segment on The View, a talk show that airs on ABC, and they had the husband of B. Smith on. And I'm not sure if your listeners have been following all of the controversy surrounding him, but B. Smith, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's a few years ago, and her husband has been her primary caretaker. She still lives in the home, but he now has a girlfriend, and his girlfriend also has a room in the home, and she assists probably 2 days a week with taking care of B. Smith. And there's been this public outrage about how could he do this to his wife, you know, to have his girlfriend living in the home. This isn't right. You know, she hasn't consented to this. But the one thing, regardless of how you feel about him having a girlfriend while his wife is alive and having her live in the home, the one thing that he said on The View is that him and B spoke about all of this before her Alzheimer's had progressed.
Okay.
And he also said that the one thing that's inevitable is death. And that the best thing that we could do is to create a plan, make our intentions and wishes known to our family, so that when we do get to this stage, it won't be burdensome on the family and this plan could be carried out. And if, regardless again how you feel about his actions, I say that that is true.
Yeah.
The best thing that we can do is create a comprehensive estate plan that includes a power of attorney, a healthcare proxy, a living will, a last will and testament, and a trust if it's appropriate, because you deserve to have that power, that say and control over your legacy. And I implore all of you again to reach out to our office. We're located in Mount Vernon. We have an office in Manhattan, or reach out to any other qualified estate planning attorney. But you have to get your affairs in order.
Agreed. Well, Sheila, informative, and I trust that the information you have provided us with this evening, we will take it and go make an informed decision. Sheila will be back with me here inside the zone on Thursday, March 7th, the first Thursday in the month of March at 7:30 p.m. So we're looking forward to great information from you again, Sheila, and all the best for the rest of the week and in your business and for your family to be blessed. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, everyone. And please feel free to visit us at www.SheilaSamuelsLaw.com.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen.
Have a good night.
Yes, you too. It has been Planning with Sheila. And I know some of you are listening and you're saying, well, it's Black History Month. I'm covering everything. I can't just cover music and the past. I have to cover everything. I'm dotting all the I's and crossing all the T's. And this came at the appropriate time because we've seen freak accidents. Things just happen to people. I'm telling you, even a family member of mine, something just happened the other day, and before you know it, we're hit with the news. You know, you say to yourself, what? But yes, things do happen. So I'd like to thank you all for joining me this evening here on the show, Inside the Zone with Lady D. Denise Gomez. And of course, thanks to Sign FM 88.9, Fever FM 97.7, and Touch FM Radio 90.1 for broadcasting Inside the Zone on their platform. Cooler Runnings Jamaican Restaurant, my sponsor, thank you so much for doing what you do best, Soji, covering us the best way you know how. This evening I brought you Inspirational Zone, News Zone, February, Reggae Month, Black History Month, and wrapping up with Planning with Sheila. God willing, I'll be back on Monday to do it all over again with the Monday Drive, keeping you in the know in the city you walk, drive, and reside. Enjoy your weekend, everyone, and as always, love yourselves, love your children, and remember, in everything you do, it is the will of God concerning your life. And so I'm going to send out all the love, all the blessing, and all the prayers that I can possibly come up with. I'm going to look at the names. I'm going to say, yes, this person spent the time to stop by this evening and catch a glimpse of the show. And to all those of you who are tuned into or radio dial, I thank you. Those who tuned in on Linkage Radio on Ustream, thank you so much. You know, I appreciate it. This journey has been wonderful, but it could not have happened without you. Can you imagine me coming here talking and nothing? it could not have happened without you, no matter who we think we are, how prepared we think we are. Without you and your interacting with us, it's just a show in a shell. Blessings. Out of here.
Number one radio station.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the show this evening and that the information presented will bring you some good, as it will bring me sitting right here in this chair. Blessings, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.